Hey YouTube, welcome to RV Daydream, and we're getting ready to go on our trip. Yeah, we're going to go to West Branch.
What have you been up to?
I've been riding on a daydream.
What a big surprise. But you know what? It's one of the things that I neglect to do sometimes is forget how many more new subscribers we may have. And I think, oh, nobody wants to see that same old drive that we take out there, and so I don't include it, or I don't talk about it. So this time I think I'll get everybody caught up to date so you guys can see not the whole trip out there. It's real close to the house here, but still I'll point out, basically what I have in the past as far as the drive. However, that's not for a couple of more days here. We still got a few days. It's only Friday right now, and we're not taking off out of here until much later than that. So not this weekend, but next week. Did get something from Amazon though, and I wanted to talk about it. And first of all, let me tell you this. Amazon started delivering out of the local distribution center directly to the customers instead of going through the post office and UPS. And I'm going to tell you right now, man, there is no doubt that there is huge negatives for the post office and UPS based on this. I can't even remember last time I seen my UPS guy, and I used to see my UPS guy all the time. And same with the post office. They haven't pulled in this driveway to deliver anything for a long time. So it's interesting. Amazon, I think, took it to heart whenever the president was upset about how much, they were paying, how much Amazon was paying the postal service, as far as the contract they negotiated for deliveries. And I think that the Amazon's taking that to heart, like I say, and because, man, they've got their own delivery service, and I'm telling you right now, I see that truck all the time out here. There's actually, I'll tell you what, even though we live out rural in the country, it is a pretty busy intersection, as I've said in the past. Yesterday, there was 2 Amazon delivery trucks sitting side by side. And that's not even counting all the other trucks that are being rented or are not marked as Amazon delivery that's actually doing Amazon deliveries too. So they're getting it done. I'm telling you that. And I don't know what's going to happen as far as the other delivery companies, how it's going to affect them. So getting back to the stuff that I got. This was something that I needed for the RV. You'll probably need the same thing if you've got an RV similar to ours, or yeah, well, you gotta have a black tank flush. I'll talk about that. So we're operating off of the portable tank. I only use this for gray water. Gray black water hose. This is for the clean out on the tank. I wanted to have a hose that was dedicated for flushing out the black tank. This one's 25 foot. That seems to be just about right. And I was using a crappy hose that we have in addition to a clean water hose, so that the clean water didn't have to hook up anything black tank related. Well, now I can just do black tank hose only. Yep, I finally broke down and went ahead and got external filters that go on the connection at the park. Let me be clear, we do not drink the water at the park. We've never drank the water at the park. I have a water filter that's already on board on the RV right now. However, I wanted something that whenever I fill our freshwater tank, gets filtered before it goes in the freshwater tank without running it through that aqua saver in the shower. This way I can fill the freshwater tank directly and catch whatever sediment may go on. There's also the slightest chance this may help when we're washing our RV. I was thinking about maybe hooking up to our hose, and probably not. I'll just use these for the RV. So the links are going to be down below for all this stuff. Buy the 2-pack, it's cheaper. There's one of them that has a hose connection that goes to whatever the park, and then it goes to the filter. I have one of those already, so I didn't need it. But yeah, the 2-pack is definitely cheaper. And then finally, the last thing, my water regulators you've seen in the past, or maybe you didn't see. Yeah, unfortunately, the gauge quit working on it. It's a pressure regulator for the park's water to make sure that you don't blow the lines apart. And trust me, I've run into that situation where we've had some serious water pressure. This is so strong. Check out the gauge. See how it says low, and then there's a medium, then there's a high. which Heidi calls that danger. Watch what happens when I turn on the water. It leaks right there, which I don't care for, but it does go to the high. Now, just because it says high, that's not what comes through. This is a regulator. It regulates it down. But yeah, there's quite a bit of water. And I'm telling you, the volume is incredible. All right, one thing I found out whenever you fill this up with this water pressure, you gotta let off occasionally, because the water pressure so much it's blowing the tank up inside. It's even though there's a vent, the vent can't handle the amount of water. So how much water is there coming out? You guys are gonna find this funny. Ready? I don't know if you've seen that, did you? It's crazy. This shit shoots all the way across all the way as far past my truck. It goes farther than the front of the truck. This water pressure could definitely screw up somebody's day, that's for sure. Every time I do that, a puff of air comes out. When I'm doing this, air's coming out the whole time, but yeah, that's crazy. I can't believe how strong it is. But better have strong water pressure than not enough, that's for sure. See, all that was air pressure, even though the tank's not full yet. We're gonna do it again, even though the park ranger just went by. Watch this. How crazy is that? That water pressure was crazy. So anyways, real simple. I'll read the instructions later, but you can see it comes with a gauge, and it has an adjustment right here. So whenever you hook up to the park, you can make sure that your water that's going into the RV isn't crazy too high as far as the pressure, and you can screw around and put it at the pressure that you want it to be at just by setting this screw. So it won't go over that, but sometimes you might have some really low pressure at the park. Of course, you don't need this unless there's burst. Sometimes you have people that are on your same water line that leave, and now you got more water pressure. So that's a good idea. Again, links are down below for all this. Man, this is heavy. This is a lot heavier than I thought. I'm gonna have to figure out how to put it on the RV so it's not hanging off of the RV. I'm gonna have to put this most likely at the hookup for the park directly. I didn't even think about that. So I got to go ahead and I'm going to knock out this lawn job. We're supposed to have some rain coming in. It's 82 today. It's going to be a little bit cooler tomorrow and again rainy. I don't think I'm going to mow the front yard though. It's looking awful haggard. We're in sort of a drought situation kind of here. For the month of September, we are 4 inches below what's normal. So yeah, it happens. Leaves are already starting to fall off the trees. They're not changing color though. All right, let's go ahead and mow this up. We'll pick this up a little bit later, maybe whenever we're hooked up, getting ready to go. So it's dark and you guys can't even see us. We got our porch light on, but this is something that we never ever show. It's like the night before our trip, some of the stuff that we do. So yeah, we're in the RV and it's dark because I don't have the lights on, but we do have a few things on inside here. As you can see, that's lit up here. Let me go ahead and turn on the lights. Boom! So here's the deal. The hot water tank. Yeah, if we're going to be traveling a great distance, which we're not, but even when we get to the campground, it's messy in here. We turn on the hot water tank. The reason is because once we get to the campground, I might, in my case, want to take a shower right away. Because, especially if it's going to be hot, once I set up the RV, I get it all backed in, I'm on the ground, I'm doing wheel chalks and boards, and, even though all our stuff is mainly power, just moving around and hooking everything up, at that point, maybe I just want to get cleaned up and relax. Now, if you guys remember from previous videos, I say that I wear old clothes whenever we are traveling because, you don't know what you're going to get into during the travel part of it. So I want to be able to, if I see a leak underneath the truck, underneath the RV, if I have a problem, if I have a flat or something, I don't want to have to go change my clothes so I can work on it. And I don't want to ruin anything that I have, that I'm wearing. Even though the hot water tank, I'm going to turn it off for the night, it'll last definitely until we get to where we're going. It's same when you're traveling. That hot water stays pretty hot. The other thing that we do, we turn on the refrigerator. We run the refrigerator the night before. I think a lot of you guys do this. Some people are saying that you should do like 48 hours ahead of time. What I found is we start it off on gas. We get it nice and cold. We have a couple freezer packs that we put in there. And then we load it up with all of our cold food the night before. And then just leave the refrigerator running on electric throughout the night, because we are going to be plugged in all night long. Now, if we're out on the road, obviously, we're going to be running it all the time to keep it cool. And we do have a temperature gauge in here, which it's underneath the ice pack. Can you see it? Heidi's digging around for it. What's it say?
It says it's 50-some degrees.
Okay, so it's almost cold enough, but not quite. And we're going to fill it up with our food that we need to put in there and just leave it, again, run all night. And it'll be plenty cold then when we get to where we need to go, which, again, it's real close. As far as inside here, again, this is kind of a camping situation. It's not a full-time RV situation, but we'll kind of get all our clothes in here that we need. In my case, I have a lot of time tomorrow. I don't have to check in till 3. It's only about a 35-minute drive to get there, maybe a 40-minute drive. So I'll be shooting a video covering some other stuff. Not only just the trip itself, but like I need to finish out a video for the stable loads that are on the truck. I have time. I'm actually probably going to go take the truck and get it washed in the morning, or wash it in the morning. And I'll bring my clothes out. But Heidi, of course, she's going to be at work, so she's putting all her clothes in here tonight. We'll make sure we got all our soaps and shampoos and everything like that. More importantly, when we get to our destination, we have a head start on the hot water for the shower. So we kind of like to have water in the tanks. Now, in our case, we don't really even need that because where we're going to have full hookups. And again, it's real close. And that's something you got to keep in mind, is not so much what you have right now, but what you may need wherever you're going. So that's going to be it for the night. We'll pick this up in the morning. Right now I'm charging batteries. I got to flip them, take them out of the charger and put new batteries in there just to keep everything charged up for communication for you guys. So we'll pick this up in 3, 2, 1. Bam! Yep, time to go. Actually, time to get ready to go. We had rain last night. We weren't supposed to have rain. If I would have known that, I'd pulled in the slides. But this will give me the perfect opportunity. Oh, look, the sun's coming out. To show you guys this thing again. Remember this thing I was talking about in a previous video? So all I do is just rub it on the sides of the slides. Yeah, you could see, I have water here. If I was to retract the slides to go camping, or to leave camping if you were camping and it rained, that water would have gotten inside. But yeah, this takes it right off. It's squeaky clean at this point. There's a little bit of water, but hardly anything at all compared to what it could be. I was always concerned about that. You can see how much water's on here. See if I can get the right angle for you. I was always concerned. When you put the slides in, obviously this water's not going to just disappear. So yeah, let's go ahead and squeegee it off. It contours to whatever shape you go over, so you don't have to worry about trim so much and stuff. Initially I was trying to go around the window and the trim and everything, and it worked out just fine if I didn't. There's a little bit underneath here. I don't know if you guys can see that. Yeah, there we go. So we'll get all that off, and then boom. This is a lot of water. I don't know if you can tell, but all this would be inside the RV if I wasn't doing this. So if you guys don't know this, these slots that you see in the windows, they have to be cleaned. They have to be cleaned out. And the reason I know why is because of that storm that we were in Paradise. When we went to Paradise Lake, there was a bad storm out there. If you guys didn't watch that video, which a lot of you may haven't, it was a long time ago. We went out to Paradise and we got caught in a pretty healthy storm, and the rain just torrential rain. And guess what? I didn't clean out those little slots on the vents for the windows, and that's where all the water comes out whenever whatever runs up against the window and on the window frame, it all goes into those little slots. And it's supposed to drain out there. Those are drains. And I had leaves and debris and whirligigs and stuff because I never cleaned them. I never cleaned them out. So all the water that was running down, because the way that the RV was just the tilt of the RV, it was running down. Just pouring down, and it was all coming inside the RV. So during the lightning and the wind and everything else, I went outside and I hurried up and cleaned those out. I took a butter knife or something real quick and just wiggled it back and forth. Maybe it's a little flat tip screwdriver. And I wiggled it back and forth, and all the stuff came out as the water was trying to come out too. And anyways, that was my lesson in keeping those things clean. And a lot of you guys keep on asking about the cap. Yeah, there's still water in that upper left-hand corner up there. I can't tell if it's coming out of the front window or the side window that they just replaced. I can't tell yet. What I got to do, you remember what I said about our water being really hard, which it is. What I have to do is, I'd rather not use water. What I like to do is use our air gun, my air gun, and just see if I can blow all around the windows to see if somebody inside can feel the air coming through. Pretty much if I'm a certain distance away, if you can feel air, then most likely you can feel water. If that doesn't work, then I'll just pour water or spray water on it until I see where it's coming in at, and then address it at that point. It's one of those things. A lot of people think that if you have a cap, it should be 100% waterproof. And I'm sure you guys are going to say, yeah, my cap, I don't ever get water in the back of my truck. Or some say, oh, I got a tonneau cover and I never get rain inside my truck. Well, I know that every dealer I've ever talked to about caps say, listen, water's going to get in there one way or the other at some point. I mean, it just happens. And every cap I had, no matter how good I had it sealed off, no matter how much work I did to keep it, tight and secured, there was always places that water could get in. I mean, it just happened. So I've pretty much come to the conclusion that all caps leak. Maybe not right away, or maybe right away, like in our case, but still. All right, I got a lot to do. It's still early morning. Check-in's not till 3, but yeah, I couldn't believe how bad it rained. I just nodded off around 2:30 in the morning, and I mean, I heard this roaring sound, and it's like, what is that? And I realized it was rain hitting the house. So I got up and I closed our porch windows, and then I was dreading the fact that I had my slide outs because, now I got water on top of the awnings and I got to roll them in with the water. Nonetheless, they're going to be, extended once we get to the campground, but still, I would have rather it not been out and gathered rain. I wish they would have been in. So I got to go inside the RV. I got to look at my clothing situation. I got to bring out some bedding. Heidi's got to, I got to grab some of her clothes that she laid out for me. I got to bring out some toiletries that we needed for the morning before she went to work. This is the normal routine. I mean, it's sad because there's so much more involved trying to do both, staying at home, having a home, and also trying to RV and go camping, because I mean, there's only so many clothes we have. Something that I want to point out while I'm walking up against this RV, this is the only flaw I can find in this entire RV as far as, well, there's 2 flaws that I can find in this entire build, and it's so minor. I don't know if you guys can see in the reflection, but there's a little bit of a bow in the wall right at like one rib, and it's so hard to tell, but it's right here, and I mean, I can't even really feel it. I mean, if you really pay attention, you can kind of feel it, but there's just the slightest little bow there, but it's so minor I can't even feel it with my hand. I can just see it. And this is the only other flaw, which I talked about the other night on our live chat. If you look, the gap here gets greater as you get here. I mean, I can put my finger in here. You can see that, right? I can clearly put my finger in here. If I go here, there's no way I can't get it, but that much in there. However, what happened is it looks like they've just tightened down this side too tight, but no water ever gets in there. The seal is still being engaged and pressed by the door, so it's still getting sealed off. So I'm okay with that. I don't have a problem. Other than cosmetically, I mean, is that crazy? Is that bad? Would you guys be upset about that? I'm not really one way or the other. That's it. That's the flaws. That's the biggest flaws. I can't believe how many people during our live chat was saying, well, how do you like your RV? You know, we're looking at the same one. That's pretty much all I can find. I mean, I talked about all my dislikes on that previous video, but yeah, this is pretty much it. So far so good, I guess you could say. Yeah, I haven't had much of an issue. That's all. That's pretty much it. All right, let me get busy and we'll pick this up a little later. So I went ahead and recalled my hitch height thanks to the Level Mate Pro. Check out that video if you guys haven't seen that already. Again, I don't know why I didn't buy it years ago. So basically what I did was let that little box tell me what my hitch was at whenever I disconnected. And the way that you do that is, before you disconnect, whenever you get it just perfect and you know it's the right height and everything, at that point you go to the app and you turn on the Level Mate Pro inside the RV, wherever you have it mounted, and you put save hitch height. So then once you save your hitch height, it'll just remember it. It'll remember the hitch height that you were at when you disconnected, when everything was perfect. So in my case, it's more critical to have the hitch height saved than it would be if you had just a ball hitch, because you can kind of eyeball that pretty easily, but this gets me really close. So all right, let's get hooked up. Everything's pretty much packed up, but I'm still too early to go in. Look at all these stink bugs. We were talking about that on that live chat the other night. There's one there, there's one up there staring at me, looks like he wants to jump. There's another one over there, and I have a bunch on the side too. About 50 miles an hour they'll be gone though. Alright guys, so I'm all hooked up. I went ahead and finished out my video, and yeah, it's kind of interesting how all this stuff works. Just so you guys know, because you've been watching all my stuff, I've got some stuff in the back. I have that clam shelter in the back. I have that picnic table canopy that we've done reviews on. I have a striped chair back there, and I have a couple other small things. I have a full tank of gas, so 34 gallons I think that's in there. Yeah, I think it's 34 gallons. And I still have about 15 gallons of fresh in here. Yeah, it's about 15 gallons of fresh. And again, you can see my fresh tank is like right here. My black tank is like right here, and then the gray tank is right here, and that's all forward of the axle. So I'm gonna get rid of some of the gray. I think I have gray that's just here, and we've talked about this. I don't care, this is my lawn, and yeah. We're gonna get rid of there's hardly any in there, but anyways, I have about 15 gallons of fresh, and I don't think there's anything in the black tank. Maybe 2 flushes, 3 flushes. And of course, the fresh being so far forward, I found that the best setting, if you guys are trying to duplicate this on any level, with this heavy rock guard, that's the worst thing about it, is how heavy it is. That's the best thing about it, is how heavy it is. The Stinger and the rock guard gotta weigh 100 pounds. I mean, they are definitely heavy together. They're, if not 100, it's got to be 80 at least. I will definitely hold true to 80. And then of course the hitch, you know, the Stinger and the hitch and the jacks and everything, that's 250 pounds. You can see it's kind of spread out, but anyways, one propane tank almost completely full, 2 lead acid batteries on the tongue, and the weight distribution set at 7 inches is kind of the magic number with the stable loads engaged. And the front end is setting really good. I think the front end is raised a 1/2 inch, if that. It might be actually less than that. And the rear has only squatted less than 1 inch. I think it's 3/4 of an inch. So that's kind of the happy connection that I've got as far as setting it up and getting it dialed in. It's a good ride. It's a nice smooth ride. Considering what I'm driving here, I don't even know why I mentioned how smooth the ride is. That's kind of stupid. You know, having a snowplow package with, you know, enhanced springs is what they call it for the front, and then having the camper package, which also has the 10,000 GVW package on it that gives you that extra overload spring. This thing rides stiff. I mean, it's even in the, you know, when you're reading it, it says that your ride unloaded will be deteriorated with those options. And yeah, the ride's a little on the rough side. So this is the best carrying configuration that we can have right now. And I'm pretty happy with it. I still, you know, would think that if I had a F350, that the squat would be less because they put an extra spring in the pack, plus you have a heavier rear end. Other than that, everything else pretty much is the same on the front. The springs are a little heavier on the front, but not like it is in the back. I mean, having an extra, you know, one of these big leaf springs here, having one more of these things in there, I mean, that's pretty crazy. That would really make a difference. But the travel speed that I go at, you know, like I said, about 65 miles an hour, everything feels really comfortable. Other than the additional length of the trailer, this still tows really comparably to my old truck with that 460 in it, and that small trailer that we used to have, our old Terry trailer. And yet, like I say, this one still tows comparably to that. It really does. It feels about the same. Except I know I have something a little bit taller and a little bit longer back there. But other than that, driving down the road, you know, changing lanes, going around corners, you gotta watch a little bit more. But as far as the feel, the overall feel, like it lugging something back there, it really feels like that old truck and the small trailer. So I'm really happy about that. I pretty much accomplished what I was hoping by getting that hitch and getting a truck that was a little bit bigger and newer. Because honestly, towing this trailer with that 460, it would have done okay. It's just, it would have been all downhill as far as its performance compared to what it was doing with that little trailer. Even with that little trailer at 5,500 pounds in the back of the truck loaded up, you know, it did pretty good. But this one, you know, it's definitely heavier. There's no doubt about it. So let me hop on the road. I got to close up the house, make sure everything's okay, set up all of our cameras, set all the sensitivity things on them to go off if anybody sneezes near our porch or near the garage. And we're going to head to the campground. So we'll pick it up a little bit later. So we're in site 114. Now we've been in this site, I can't even count how many times. We were in this site with our patchy pop-up to give you an idea how many times we've been here. So I remember this is a full hookup site, and I remember this is the first full hookup site we ever had with that Apache, which was kind of different, but I got to try the city water hookup, and it was just nice. It was just nice. So years later, of course, we had our Starcraft pop-up. We did not camp here, but we did camp in this loop around the corner. And then we've had the Terry travel trailer here numerous times. I've posted pictures in the past, and it's actually been videos. We've done videos from this exact site. If you remember, whenever I did that little rant about that lady who was complaining about my fire ring and how tall the fire was, you can see all the trees are still alive here, right? There's nothing wrong with them. But she was saying that our fire was too tall and it was going to burn something down. Well, anyways, that was this site. All the times that we've been at this site, we've never been here with our new RV. Now I pulled in just like I always did, and a gentleman stopped and said, hey, make sure that you're careful, your rig's long enough, you might actually bump this tree. Well, I knew it was back here a ways, and I didn't bump it. I didn't have any problems there. And I did get all the way back to where I'm up against the curb, just like I wanted, because the curb, you know, it's a wheel stop. Even though I have my wheel chocks in there, it's nice. Okay, so the big disadvantage to this site is the angle in which the site's at. With the old RV, I don't know if you guys remember, but I used to talk about it, about how low it's at. And one of the problems with a low setting RV was that if you were to level it out in an uneven site, similar to this one in particular, that you might actually have an issue with not being able to go down enough to level it out because it's set so close to the ground already. Well, guess what? I've got that problem even with this one. So the slope is constant about where my back tires are all the way down. And when I'm lowering this, I'm getting to where those front stabilizer jacks are about that far off the ground. And yet, even with them that far off the ground, I'm still in a situation where I still need to go about 6 inches lower. So right now what I'm getting ready to do is work on the RV. Right now, the weight distribution bars are actually connecting with the ground before I'm bottomed out all the way. So what I'm going to do is pull off the bolts that hold the weight distribution bars in. There's just plates and bolts. It's real simple. And then there's this little wedge, I guess you could say, a keyway. I'm going to go ahead and pull that out, and that way I can let it go down just a little bit further, because right now it is hitting the weight distribution bars. And the funny thing is I remember reading on the forums for the Pro Pride hitches, and they said, has anybody run into a situation where their site's so unlevel that their bars are hitting the ground before they get leveled out? Well, that's kind of a rare situation. This is an unlevel site from front to rear quite a bit. Now, I know all you guys are probably typing already on the keyboard saying, wait a minute, I got the answer. Yeah, I can elevate the trailer more. I can go ahead and hook back up, hook my hitch up, and disconnect my, once it's connected, go ahead and pull my wheel chocks, and I can drive up on some boards. The thing is I don't know how many more inches I need to raise this axle before it will clear in the front. And quite honestly, I have enough boards for about 6 inches on each side. And 6 inches here, of course, I don't know what it changes on the hypotenuse, on this right angle, basically. I don't know what it changes the hypotenuse at. I don't know what it puts it at. I probably could sit here and measure and do the math and figure it out, but I just don't think that wood is going to be enough to allow me to lower it. Plus, you got the added problem of I've got to hook the truck back up. I've got to take the wheel chocks off. I got to pull forward. I got to stack all that little pyramid of wood on both sides. And I know you guys are all screaming, you should get those Anderson levelers. They're really nice. You know, the problem is you got to have 4 of them. And then you have to have 4 of those wedges. And they take up a lot of room. Yeah, I mean, I know what they equate to as far as pieces of wood. But my pieces of wood are free. So it's something we may look at in the future. And if I had those Anderson levelers, I would do that. I mean, that would be the answer. That would work here. But I've got to kind of figure this out. And there's a part of me, I mean, it's not a big deal to take off these weight distribution bars, but there's a part of me that don't want to because they're greasy as all get out. And I do have work gloves and rubber gloves that will keep my hands clean. It's just, you know, reassembling it then whenever it's time to go. Again, I don't think that I can raise the RV enough that I can leave all that connected to get the drop that I need. Okay guys, keeping it real about all this stuff. Yeah, the circus has come to town and it's set up at camp and site number 114. Look at this rig job. So I decided not to take the weight distribution bars off, obviously, and I grabbed all the wood that I had and put it underneath the tires. And I had to put some rocks underneath here because I needed to step up so the wood didn't, you know, you need to ramp it up. You need to simulate a ramp to where the tire doesn't have a big edge that it has to go over. Anyways, when that tire went over, it then wedged it in between the 2 tires because it didn't have anything to hold it from going down. So I had to put rocks underneath there. Same with the other side, which is even worse. It's even funnier. These things, man, they lower quite a bit. I mean, that's a lot for them to lower. Look at that spider in there. Can you see him? Can't wait to show Heidi that. But this bumper is way up here, man. I mean, look at this. It's above my belly button. Definitely. This is way high. And these things still got room to go down. But they couldn't go down far enough. So I had to use my emergency wheel chocks for, you know, some space. Take up some space. Now this one, hell, the back tire ain't even on that piece of wood. I need to take a hammer and kind of hammer that over to get it underneath there a little bit more. But it's okay. Unfortunately, the side-to-side leveling, I'm an inch and about an inch too low on this side. Once the slides came out, it was already a little low. Now it's an inch too low. Not a big deal. I mean, the nice thing about that is the water will run off a little bit better. And I am still an inch high, well, 3/4 to an inch high on the tongue. So again, not a big deal. If anything, that's going to keep the water running off the back, which again, isn't a big deal. So I wanted to keep this real because the step, you guys always say, oh, those steps, I've never won them. Well, you're in a situation where you'd really hate them because this rear step can't be used. If I try to put this step out, check this out. It's a good laugh. Look at this. Now these legs go down a little bit further, but they're quite a bit extended. They're almost all the way extended. Look at that. I mean, this thing, I don't know if you can tell, but it's up to my knee. The first step's up to my knee. So we'll just leave that up. It'll just be inside the RV. The bad news is we got to walk through the bedroom, which usually means dust, which, okay, I have to deal with that. The front step works fine. I mean, it operates perfect. So I'm sure the other thing you're saying is, yeah, you had to get that hitch, didn't you? Now look at you. I love the hitch. It does a good job. You know, there's extra weight involved, but to disconnect this and reconnect this is a dream. And driving down the road, which the hitch is made for, is a dream. This is just one small inconvenience. I could have made it to where I could have got that extra inch by loosening and taking off the weight distribution bars, but I didn't. So 90-90 boo-boo, that's what happened. But yeah, this is going to be okay because I have the weight being supported mainly by the stabilizer jacks, but the tongue jack's really taking care of it. I mean, I can still move this stuff around, but yeah, it's one of those things. Trying to keep it relatively real, and things don't go perfect out there, and this is the kind of stuff that you got to deal with. But guess what? We're camping. The good news is I know that I need to buy some levelers, and you guys that are mechanics know this rule. If you need a tool while you're working on something, you might be able to get away with another tool, a makeshift tool, or you might be able to borrow it. But if you find yourself that you know, to where you're probably going to be working on the same thing, or maybe getting into that situation in the future, you buy that tool again, and every time you need it, you have it. So I'm going to go ahead and buy levelers. I mean, these wood blocks I've been using for the last 5 years, and I've never had a need for anything but the wood blocks. So now that I need something else, I'll have to buy something else. It was interesting that the little RV I could level out here, but I guess I wasn't thinking about it. The little RV, if I put a couple boards under it, like just a couple, it raised it, and it was so short that it didn't take hardly anything for the nose, you know, at that point, just to go down a little bit. Raising this one, you have to raise it a lot more to get the same amount of inches on the front, because the front sticks out so far into that area. Like I said, it's a learning experience. I kind of know now what I can get away with. And the nice thing is if I pull into a site, because I have that LevelMate Pro, and it says I need to lower the front, even with the truck hooked up, like 18 inches, I know that I'm not going to be able to do it. I know I'm not going to be able to get 18 inches down. So, yeah, and that's with it hooked up. Once it's disconnected, I think it said that I needed to go about 13 inches, something like that, maybe 14 inches. Maybe it's even more than that now I think about it. I think it was 15 inches. The other thing I need to do is jockey this truck around so Heidi can fit in here with her car. Hopefully I can find a way to do that, but man, it's going to be kind of tough, because I really want her to be able to park her car here. If not, I got to park my truck up in the overflow parking and leave it there. And the other option is for her to park her car in the overflow parking and then take my truck every day. And the way gas prices are, they're getting ready to go up again. So that probably won't happen.
So we're all squeezed in here. I finally made it. It's like 6 o'clock. So this is our site. It's a pretty big site. Looks like they are letting the water down for the end of the season. It's way down. But it's a pretty nice site. Pan around here. Typical, it looks like we've been here a few times. Except it's the first time with the rockwood. I don't know if you can see up there, that up by the shower house. They're getting ready for a big Halloween deal here. They'll have trick-or-treating and all kinds of stuff. I don't know what day it's on though. What you doing, honey?
Trying the gauge.
Oh, the new gauge.
Connection.
Ooh, it's fancy.
We got to put the filter on too. Yeah, it's liquid filled. I'm kind of curious what the pressure is coming in here. I was surprised that the gauge cleared the thing. I thought it was going to hit, but it doesn't hit. Look at our black tank flush. Oh, that's right. We ain't got one over there. I'm going to have to figure that out.
I think it's not worth figuring it out.
Yeah, that's all I got to do is find the line that's over there and just plumb into it.
Look at it this way. It's probably a pipe that is away from the black tank, and there's no way, a chance of it back pressure, back flushing, or squirting out of that.
One-way check valve or something.
Well, maybe there is. Nobody knows that.
I have something that I want to do. That's all there is to it.
Well, that's going to be exciting.
All right, let's go ahead and try this first.
Is that where you put that at?
Well, you know what? Where's my You can do it on that. Where's our green separator? Our drinking
The three-way should be in there.
Two-way.
Or two-way. We still have yet to get even remotely organized.
Yeah, I know.
Got 5 million.
Tank, that can go in there. We'll get dripped on. We'll get dripped on. Oh, I just barely.
Yeah, we definitely got some organization.
What? Wait a minute. Oh, yeah, that's fresh water, but it's not. That thing's not in here. Where is
And then
it?
it's probably...
Not in here. That's what.
Did we actually lose it?
Did we leave it on the faucet?
No, because I think you've had to go back and get it. I don't see it in there.
Well, I think I left it on the faucet in Pennsylvania.
Oh my god. We left a lot of stuff there. Or we left stuff there. I shouldn't say a lot. Left our sign.
This is the toilet stuff. So, oh, there's in there. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's all I need there.
Okay, well, we'll pick it up later.
So, a floral arrangement. Making a floral arrangement.
Yeah.
There's another little spider. All right, so we're going to close it down. Yeah, our centerpiece. Should do weddings. Charge
Oh, yeah.
$100 per table. Do an acorn and an old brown leaf. So we're checked into the site. We're all set up. The water pressure's good. Electricity's good. Everything's good. We always had good luck here. We have spotty internet. I've got the Wii Boost. Man, I got up. Can you believe I climbed that ladder? I had to pull myself up, and it wasn't a pretty sight. But anyways, the Wii Boost did bump it up because we were having like 1 bar, and download speeds was 2, and upload speed was 0.7 just for a split second. With the Wii Boost now, we're at 11 on the download and 6 to 8, but I think it's just reading high 6 on the uploads. With that said, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get these videos up for you guys unless when Heidi's at work, I wander into Ravenna, and I know how fast they get uploaded there. So
It's quick.
it's very quick. It's extreme. It's the fastest internet speed I've ever experienced with a cell phone ever.
Breakfast and it's done.
Yeah, I mean, like an hour-long video, 1080 60 frames per second, which, you know, quality of the type of footage you're trying to upload makes a difference. And it gets uploaded in 30 minutes or less. It's, you know, for a 45 minute to an hour video. It's
Faster than our house.
Oh, way faster than the house. So, that's a possibility too. But
It's
we're here.
humid out.
Yeah, it's really, really humid. And tomorrow is going to be 88. And they got the little cactus with the sun on the say it's very hot. There's a chance though, that 88's kind of just the general area. There's still a chance if we hit 90. Like I said, Ohio, this part of Ohio has never had a 90-degree day ever in recorded history. It'll be the hottest day ever recorded in October. And I know that that's going on. I remember there's a ton of states. I seen a map last night, and there's a whole bunch of states from Texas all the way up to New York, kind of in a wide path from Illinois down to South Carolina, a path, if you could just imagine a big rectangle across all that area. All of those areas, there was just, I don't remember how many, there was like 20 to 30 major cities that are going to break records. So this is crazy. In the meantime, our son's out there. He's got nice, cool nights every night. And now here's the thing: when I leave on Friday, Heidi will be going to work. It's fall. The high temperature is 59 for the day. It might get into the 60s, but they're saying 59 right now. So it is fall, and then from that point on, our highs are only in the 60s. So we're going to enjoy this hot weather and pretend like it's Florida. And then as soon as it starts dropping and staying consistently in the non-Florida zone, then that means I have to move to the Florida zone. So anyways, just kidding around. We're set, and actually now that I've been inside the RV and moving around and stuff, it's okay in there. I don't know. I always want it perfect, absolutely perfect, but
This is not a perfect site.
it's not a perfect site.
It's a nice site, but it's
Yeah.
not.
Yeah, let me show you the site before we close out. Because a lot of you guys, I keep on forgetting, just joined us. So this is site number 114. This is a full hookup site. This is a full hookup loop, this entire loop. Don't be confused or whatever about the empty sites, because there is no empty sites. I mean, there is today. I think there is tomorrow, but that's it. They'll all fill up. And you can see why we like this so much. And like I said, we've stayed here numerous times. Many times on this site, this specific site. And then our daughter, she stayed up at that site one time in our camper. But this trail here I've walked before. Here's our fire ring. And usually we see all kinds of deer track that are going through here. But usually it's slightly muddier than this too, to tell you the truth. Looks like somebody put straw down so people can enjoy the trail. But normally the water comes all the way up into here. This is all usually water all up in this area here. I'm going to try to go before my camera takes a crapola. Looks like the battery's getting ready to go dead. We'll get to the other opening. Yeah, see, it's real nice. I mean, they do take care of their sites. They've put down straw all along here so you can still walk the trail. Yeah, there's a trail that goes out that way. I guess I can go this way. But yeah, this is a nice park. I've always liked this park because there are numerous sites that are just like this one. Not necessarily full hookup, but that go down to water. The way this water, I don't want to say branch, but I guess I will, branches in different ways. You get a lot of exposure to this here. I mean, it's just nice. Again, the water's really down. It's usually right up to here. But this is a reservoir and they're draining it for the winter. But yeah, this is pretty much why we come here. So I'm going to close it out. I'm going to walk back to the camper, go inside. I'm going to take a shower because I'm a little hot and sweaty. And we're going to try to start on day 2 and see what we can get into. Of course, Heidi's got to go to work tomorrow, so that kind of sucks. But nonetheless, when she gets off work, she gets to come enjoy like she is now. I'll talk to you guys later, and we hope to see you out there. Bye.